You think you're unique and special, that your worldview is different from everyone else's. But what if I told you that's impossible? Modern people, all of us, share the same hidden structure of thought, the same invisible lens through which we see the world. It's not that someone designed us this way, it's simply the logic of our time, one we can't escape. There is one powerful thing that structures our entire world, and we call it common sense. Common sense is a set of beliefs we never dare to question. We treat them as self-evident truths, when in fact they're just habits of thought we learned. They quietly structure everything we see and everything we believe is possible. We think we're free, but we're only moving inside the boundaries that common sense allows. And whether you like it or not, you think like everyone else. So let me show you the structure, or rather the lens, through which you and all modern people see the world. We think that inside each of us exists a private realm where life unfolds. We call it the mind, consciousness, or simply the self. Beyond this inner space lie external things, which are fundamentally separate from us. Within our personal sphere, we experience sensations and perceptions that seem to reflect the external world, but we can't never be completely certain they do. When we describe the world outside ourselves, we usually rely on what modern science tells us. Scientists measure, calculate, and reduce phenomena to numbers, size, mass, and from these observations they derive universal laws. From this perspective, reality out there is simply matter and energy moving through space. Yet we don't reduce everything to material things and numbers. Love, friendship, feelings of duty, and so on, these cannot be reduced to material world. Still, we tend to treat them as purely subjective. Their reality exists only in our minds. Meanwhile, the true world is thought to consist solely of particles and energy, while our experience of it layers on meaning, values, and judgments. Good, bad, beautiful, ugly. That reflects our own desires rather than objective truths. So the important part of how we see the world is that we treat it as something absolutely separate from ourselves. We also believe that the proper way to live is to clarify, or even invent, our desires, and then shape the external world to satisfy them. Science becomes a tool, allowing us to bend material reality to our will. And that's the basis of your thinking. Not much, actually. You might say that it's just how people have always seen the world, but that's not true. The idea of seeing ourselves as fundamentally opposed to the world, and of treating nature as a tool to satisfy our desires and needs, that's an invention of modernity. Ancient societies saw the world differently. They saw it as something whole, unified. The oldest and most fundamental form of religion is animism, the belief that everything has a spirit. Trees, rivers, stones, all of them are alive. This creates a sense of spiritual connection between everything. It's not that humans stand above the world using objects as tools. It's more like the whole world is a single orchestra. In ancient Greek philosophy, the same idea appears. There were many different philosophical schools. Some saw the world as made of fire, some said everything is water or air, but still, they saw everything as one continuous whole. The worldview we share today began with Rene Descartes, who helped lay the foundation of the modern scientific way of seeing reality, the one we still live inside. This is something philosophers call modern philosophy, and it started around 300 years ago. Just think about it. Everything you take for granted, everything you call common sense, was once just a philosophical theory. And you might say I'm wrong. You might think you don't believe the things I've just described, that you have your own unique set of beliefs about the world, that you believe everything has consciousness, or that our reality is a matrix or some other extravagant philosophy. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you think you believe. You can believe whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you act according to something else. Slavoj Zizek illustrates this perfectly with his example of how ideology works. He often says it doesn't matter whether you personally believe in the ideology of your state, because ideology works not because everyone believes in it, but because people believe that other people believe in it. For example, imagine living in an extremely patriotic, nationalistic country. You might not feel patriotic yourself, you might not care about it at all, but you think other people believe in it. And because everyone believes that others believe, the system keeps running. It doesn't need actual belief, it just needs people to live as if it's true. I think it's easier to understand with the example of money. You can say it's just paper. You can write articles about the illusory nature of money or argue with people about it. But if you pay with it at a grocery store and treat it as valuable, it becomes real. It defines your reality. And most of the time, you don't live according to your carefully constructed, sophisticated beliefs. You live according to the common sense you share with the people around you. This modern common sense is not inherently better than the ones people held in the past. It just happens to feel natural, reasonable, appropriate, because it's the lens of our era. But it's not like there aren't alternative ways of seeing the world. There are many. Modern philosophers explore them in fascinating ways. But the problem is none of them become real until they become common sense, until people actually live by them. Take my favorite Heidegger, for example. If the modern scientific approach sees the world as separate objects, Heidegger sees it differently. Nothing exists independently. Everything exists in relations. A chair doesn't exist just as a chair. It exists as something you sit on, in relation to your body and the room around you. Its significance emerges through the interaction, not as an isolated object. And this way of seeing the world, not as separate objects and minds, but as relational existence, is completely different from the modern materialistic perspective. Other philosophers of 20th and 21st centuries, especially postmodernists, explore similar ideas. They see the world differently. But for many people, this philosophy feels chaotic and strange, but that's only because philosophy moves far ahead of everyday life. As I said before, the scientific, materialistic worldview originates with Rene Descartes. It was formulated around 300 years ago. That's how much our everyday life lags behind philosophical thought. And the philosophers we're exploring today, the ideas of 20th and 21st centuries, might not feel relevant now, but in a few hundred years, they could become the common sense of the future. Why do I say all of this? Just to kindly remind you that you're trapped in modern thinking, and the only way out is to become a philosopher. But unfortunately, that comes with loneliness and being a widow. Or you can just live your life and not think about it. It's up to you.